Welcome, Solara here. I hope you guys are doing well today. I took a break yesterday from doing any collective readings on YouTube, although I did, of course, do my regular write-up on Substack. Thank you to those of you who made your way over there and have been joining. I am growing there beautifully, both in free memberships and paid. And I just want to thank you all for your support. For those of you who aren't aware, I'm over on Substack. I've been there since the end of October last year. I already was writing something called Daily Alkhemy, which I've kind of revamped, and you'll see it show up every single day on your community board now if you're subscribed to me on YouTube, as well as in the notes section on Substack. And those are just daily little slides based upon card pulls and the energies that are coming through for guidance on every day. But on Substack, I do those, and then I also do 5 times a week. I write what I call sunrise salutations, which are longer pieces based upon the energies of now that I wake up to, like ruminating upon, that my guides are, showing me things that sometimes it's more personal in nature. So I talk about the things that I'm going through and alchemizing through the collective picture and energies, but I always do my best to try to bring it back to the actual message that's coming through collectively. Sometimes I dive into the astrology of the day if I'm led down that path. Always looking at the energies of what the sun in a sign is helping us do in terms of medicine. So right now we are in Virgo season, and Virgo comes to help us put our souls right. That's what Virgo is here to do. Virgo is here to help you put your soul right, put you in order, put you in good order to materialize the timelines that you actually want moving forward, that are only possible when your internal energies line up with what you seek to have materially, which is why the Virgo energy is connected to the 8, 9, and 10 of Pentacles. You watch me get real excited when I start talking about this, right? It's aligned with the 8, 9, and 10 of Pentacles. So right now, as the sun moves through the first 10 degrees of Virgo, we are in 8 of Pentacles territory. We are learning how to reap, begin to sow what it is that we want to reap. We are in a justice season as soon as the sun enters into Leo, and all the way through Libra season, and even some of Scorpio, it's justice season. And this is sowing and reaping time. So we're sowing for the new cycle and reaping from the old. Okay, so Virgo, the 3 main cards in the minor arcana for Virgo are the 8, 9, and 10 of Pentacles. If you want a 9 or 10 of Pentacles life, then you've got to do the 8 of Pentacles work, and you've got to align with the 9 and 10 of Pentacles internally first. Okay, so you've got to bring your mental and emotional bodies in alignment with your true spiritual story to begin to create real legacy on the earth planes. And that's what Virgo teaches us to do. And Virgo teaches us to do that right before we step into the second half of the zodiac wheel, where we are no longer concerned with just alchemizing the energies of self. We're learning now how to properly share ourselves with others while honoring our own divinity and honoring the divinity of others. Okay, so this is where we are right now. I did, the Virgo energy can be a little bit tough to get through, especially right now, because we are dealing with so much mercurial energy, guys. Like the sun and Venus are in Virgo, Mercury is retrograding, Mars and Jupiter are in Gemini. Yesterday the moon was in Gemini. This is all about breaking us out of the limiting mindsets that have programmed us into this. We are multidimensional, infinite beings who should be able to create any reality that we close our eyes and we see and we feel. And we should be able to do it instantly, but we've been programmed through fear. Layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon more layers of fear frequencies have buried us deep, and ascension is about the unearthing of that. And not only the unearthing of that in us, but we're also, as we do that, we're unearthing the dragon energies that have been buried on the earth planes also. And I spoke a little bit, that was coming through in the reading on Sunday, and a beautiful soul sent me a video to watch that just like began to light me up, like the remembrance of what it is that we're here to do also. So you know who you are. Thank you so much for that video on the dragon energies of the earth. Okay, so the dragon energies are waking up again through us. Okay, some of you are not human. Some of you are just in human suits. And that's many beings, you know, and some beings are inhabited by low-level consciousnesses, and some of you are literally dragon lineage. You are of the primordial energies that created this planet, which is the dragon lines, okay, which is why you're so connected, which is why at every turn they try to silence you, which is also why you're such deeply feeling beings. The heart of the dragon lives within you, and that's what's hatching. That's what's coming back to life. And as the heart of the dragon becomes alive in us again, then what is occurring is that the dragons will physically, once again, they won't just be etherically here, they will be able to materialize themselves back as the true guardians of this earth. Who knows when that's going to happen exactly, but that is the idea. Furthermore, another thing they were showing me is that the eternal flame has either been relit or already was lit up, and it's growing and glowing. And the eternal flame, they showed me, is responsible for when we as a collective, those of you especially who are like really deeply connected to these dragon line energies, to the primordial energies that made up this planet, as you come online, you are raising not only the frequency of the planet, but you're bringing back the dragon flame, the eternal flame. And the eternal flame, and this might not be the right word for it, but this is what my guide said to me, so take it as it resonates. You might call it something else. It might be cited as being something else. I don't listen to what other people tend to say, because my guides are very clear to me, with me years ago, and they said to me, no, all of this is locked within you. Don't get confused. Don't go to other resources unless it's there for confirmation, or unless that's where you're being guided to, but don't seek out the information from outside of you. It's within your own soul. It's time for you to unlock the library of your soul. And so that's the word I use, is the eternal flame. But they were showing me that as we rise in frequency, the eternal flame comes back online. And this is what is also, as we do that, we are the rainbow bridge, as you know. And as the rainbow bridge lights up and becomes more connected with the dragon lines above, which some would call the seraphim grids, and the dragon lines below, what we're doing is we're bringing the eternal flame back on the earth. And the eternal flame, it rules out the death and the destruction timelines that they had us stuck in through all of this karmic fuckery. Okay, and all of the ways they energetically messed with the planet to make sure that we stayed stuck in energy cycles where we couldn't rise. Okay, and I've talked about the reasoning behind that before. There's so many things they did in order to lower the frequency of the planet, using us and using a whole bunch of other methods and modes to keep the frequency at such a low state that we couldn't do anything but circle around ourselves and in the same energetic soup and fuckery, repeating the same thing time and time again, and not aware and unable to clear and cleanse and process the wounds that kept us stuck in those cycles. And furthermore, bringing into our realities death, destruction, dysfunction, and discord. You're not here to die by disease. That's not your divine purpose or truth. Death by disease is a construction of the false matrix. It is a consequence for being stuck in the same decaying cycles and not being able to get out. And so now we are breaking through the consciousnesses and the energy layers that had us stuck in these death and disease cycles. And as we do that, our bodies are shedding that old information that kept us tuned into self-destruct, and as such we're manifesting different things in our bodies as this happens, you know. But most importantly, the dragon energies are here to help you tune into your eternal truth, your ability to be an eternal being. Living in with a human consciousness. That is possible, right? The way that this place was set up divinely originally, it always was a school. Earth is supposed to be a school, but you're not supposed to leave it, or you're not supposed to die. You're supposed to leave it when you're ready to leave, when you're ready to graduate, when you've accrued the lessons that you've wanted to accrue, when you've given to the earth what you came to gift her with. Then it's time for you to leave on your own terms. Okay, you're not supposed to leave in like through despair, like dying in despair, dying by sickness, dying in a lower frequency is what kept you trapped, because it literally, disease lowers your frequency. So when you die of disease, you die in a lower frequential state, which allows them to keep your soul going through their reincarnation cycles and phases. Okay, so something about the eternal flame coming back online, and what is being hatched again is your latent power that's been dormant because the dragons have been. The dragons have been dormant because we have been trapped in fear states, and we are connected so much to the dragon lines, and because of what they did to the dragon energies on the earth, and then they kept the dragons imprisoned through us. Okay, so once you enter into Cancer, Leo, and Virgo season, it's very big dragon energy. And then, of course, this year, 2024, this is the year of the dragon. And not for nothing, 2012 was the last year of the dragon. And that's when we had some major ascension energies enter onto the planet. That's when many of you probably began your process of like waking up in a more thorough way, was 2012, in the year of the dragon. So yeah, let's get into this today. These readings are here, especially I'm trying to show up more on YouTube right now to facilitate what we're going through in this Virgo cycle, but also in general. We are you know, in the overlap, the binary, the 1-0, the Mercury, the Magician, Gemini energy is the binary. It's where we enter into that time-space continuum where we're able to create all things. It's the void. And we access it in the mind through Mercury. So right now we are being challenged to break ourselves out of very stagnant cycles and patterns by using our own minds to do it. And how far we go is fully dependent on how much we're able to liberate our mental and our emotional bodies to soar. And so as such, every time you rise into higher being, higher capability, whether it's through the mind or the heart, then the challenge comes to kind of maintain that level of expansion. And this is where the struggle comes, because when you exit out of a lower state or a lower timeline and begin to soar higher, then the energy of the lower timeline is always going to feel more familiar and is always going to have more of a magnetic pull, because it's what you know. Okay, it's kind of like, I will compare it always to like when you begin an exercise program. Okay, until you've done that exercise program for about 3 weeks, your body will continue to fight against it. Okay, you have to get your body used to that programming in order for that to become its new level of normalcy. It's the same thing when you begin to timeline jump, or when you break out of the mental and the emotional energies that had you subjugated and captivated in a lower reality, is that that lower reality will always try to call you back, suck you back in. It will do so energetically. It will do so through the people of that cycle. It will always try to call you back. And because that's what you know, it's always more magnetic. Okay, so we are at that point right now where many of you are ready to like break past like huge ass fucking blocks that have existed in your material realities because of what was happening internally. And so as such, the battle in the mind right now is very, very big. Not only the battle in the mind, like the battle in the mind may have shifted for some of you, in the sense that what you're fighting now is no longer like despair or depression or uncertainty, but you are doing your best to push past the fear barriers that have you still stuck in limited thinking, right? So you are able to think your way out of anything, but because you haven't done it for so long, you have to teach yourself how to do that again, how to think like that, and how to believe that it's possible. So the blocks that many of you are facing right now, it's not the depression, the despair, the heaviness that once upon a time would come to block you. Many of you have already coasted above that. Now it's like pushing into the multidimensional infinite truth to begin to create that now on the earth planes in real time materially. So as such, this is called a cycle breaking series. We're going to get into some of the energies that might be a challenge right now. We'll get into some of the stories surrounding that. It's kind of wherever I'm led with the cards and with the downloads. Okay, what just came out? We'll see strategy, action wants to come out. Okay. So we have carrying connections coming out again, okay? That's the number 14 card in the tarot. That would be the Temperance. So that's Sagittarius energy. We do have action, okay? So this is the number 17 card in the tarot. That's the Aquarius energy, okay? So this is also speaking about the coming together now. It's time to push past the fears we have around coming together. This is indecision, okay? It's number 8 card. This is Leo, so this is strength. This is about making decisions to push past some of these fear barriers, but this is very much concerning how you relate to the collective with that 17 energy, which is that Aquarian energy. A lot of these themes that we're dealing with, especially in the aftermath of the Aquarian full moon a week ago, has to do with the collective energies that have kept us from coming together in harmony for this new age, based upon the betrayal cycles of the false matrix, as well as the inception energies that caused us to separate from one another to begin with. There's something there's a desire, there's a great gathering, there's a time to come back together, come back online now, but then there's also this energy of indecision that you're going to have to learn to push past. We're going to have to learn to push past, meaning that you are safe to trust yourself. This is what I say in every group session that I host, you are safe. You're not safe because of me, you're not safe because of the space that I've created, although I do my best to keep it very grounded and stable, and anyone who's been to my groups will attest that that's how they feel, right? But the point of the matter is I make a big deal out of making sure that you're anchored in yourself, once you enter into that space, because that's where your security comes from. It doesn't come from another person, it doesn't come from an interaction, it doesn't come from the energetic constructs within the space that someone's created for better or for worse. It comes from you. So for as long as you're rooted and you're grounded in yourself and your truth, and this is what the Virgo energy helps you to do, you're being made ready to go out and begin to connect with more beings again. Okay, and for those of you who have an issue with that, that's fine. This isn't your reading. Please don't comment in my section how much you hate people. Go and sit down and deal with that. It's a very real wound. It's there for a reason. It's not there for you to sit in it and to grow it. It's there for you to alchemize. And it's a legitimate wound that many of us hold. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I don't want to hear that this isn't your reading. If it's not your reading, then it's not your reading. I don't need that information. Okay? Alrighty. When we had our, what was it? It was our Alchemizing Anger group on Saturday, learning how to use the shadow as protector. That group that I had where this energy came up. Beautiful soul who also has been a client in the past and in the present, she's a client presently, brought to the group this wound, this wound that had to do with her position as as a humanitarian, let's put it that way. And I met with her yesterday in a one-to-one, and what was so incredible was she brought it to the table on Saturday, very transparently, very beautifully, her own issue with with that wound. I won't get into that because that's, to protect her privacy. But I'm sharing that because I woke up the next morning on Sunday morning and I was in a deep meditation, and my guides started to show me my own wounding around my ability to serve the collective, and stories around what had occurred where I had to actually forgive myself, and it was a deep, deep, deep wound, and I had no idea I was housing it. I had no idea at all, and so I did a lot of work in alchemizing that. And when I met with her yesterday, I had to say thank you, because her honesty in the group space, saying things that most people won't state because they're afraid to, or because of the backlash, or because of the love and gaslighting culture we've been living in the spiritual community for so long, it didn't only break something off of her, it broke something off of me, and I know it broke something off of every single person in the group, because it gave us the room to confront. It gave us the room to confront that wound and to therefore heal it. You can't heal what you can't see. You can't heal what you're in denial over. You can't, which is why at every turn in the false matrix, through their spiritual programs, they want to keep you constantly bypassing so you don't get to the nitty-gritty part of the human experience, the traumas that have created the very real wounds that have elicited these darker emotions that live within all of us, that we constantly want to pretend aren't there. And for as long as we're pretending they're not there, we're not reaching our highest potential, and we certainly aren't doing the collective any favors, and we're definitely not doing the dragons any favors, because the dragons need us to live in our truth. They need us to be real. They need us to be fired up and connected to our passion in our hearts. And if we are in denial of anything that's been living in our hearts because of our own experiences, then we're not only denying ourselves, we're denying the very primordial energies that support the true authentic balance that allows this earth to come back into her newness. That's how deep it is, so I'm going to do my usual 4-card pull here to get more information on the message that wants to come through. We got the Eight of Wands. Okay, so this is Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius energy is more of a connection with the dragon lines above, or what you might call the seraphim lines. Cancer connects us to the dragon lines below. Sagittarius connects us to the dragon lines above, or at least that's how I see it, which is hence the reason why the Sagittarius energy is the earth angel. Not for nothing, we did have the temperance energy coming through. So there's something that is being born from the fire right now, and it's being born in our emotional fields. The temperance is about fire, the alchemizing of fire and water. The Eight of Wands is 0 to 9 degrees Sagittarius, ninth house energies. Okay. Overarching theme, the Queen of Cups, this is all about opening to receive. Opening to receive something in the emotional fields. Okay, the challenge is the Nine of Wands. That's the betrayal cycles, the walking through everything alone, the being the generational curse bearer who was therefore rejected, abandoned so many times within groups. Not only in this lifetime, but this is a wound that we carry across timelines, time and time again. We are able to see that things aren't right on this earth planes, and we have no support, and we're still, not only do we have do we not have any support but those beings who like to hide and bury those things within their own hearts and not see themselves or their truth, try to pull us under? And because the earth was already at a lower frequency, most beings were in hiding. Okay, most beings were in hiding of their own darkness and trying to pull us down into that and wounding us, wounding our hearts. Those of you who are connected to that dragon energy, you're extremely fucking sensitive. You're supposed to. Your emotions are supposed to keep to align the frequency of the earth planes. You're supposed to be highly emotional. You're supposed to be able to be emotionally expansive, to feel all things very, very succinctly, because it was through your emotional fields that all things were alchemized on the earth planes. And it was done properly in order before the false matrix came and began to fuck with us and purposely used us to drag the energy down into those lower settings, those fear, guilt, shame, what I call the trauma trifecta, where you were constantly cycling, and you felt it more than anyone because you are a high frequency being with large emotional capacity because of who you are and what it is you're supposed to do on the earth. And because you're so connected to those dragon energies, you have big emotions. You feel everything more intensely. You feel everything more intensely. You feel joy more intensely. You feel love more intensely, but you also feel fear, shame, guilt, all those heavy things you feel more intently, which is why they wanted you bound by those emotions, so you'd be feeding that to their grid system and keeping the earth on lock. And so now it's like this is a grand time of transmuting some of those stories of feeling like you have to continue walking alone. You have to continue alchemizing these densities alone. You were not sent here to be alone. You have a group of beings who, once they get over their own wounds, will be equipped to properly mirror back to you who you actually are. And once you get over your wounds, you will be able to properly mirror back to them who they actually are. The true mirroring energies of the earth are coming back online through this Gemini energy also. And what do I mean by that? Even as like children, like your formative years, Gemini is the third house. It deals with how you begin to see yourself internally because of how people reflect back to you who you are in those formative years. So the third house has a lot to do with like the experiences that are part of your day-to-day life as a child, especially, that begin to form your idea about who you are in the world, your identity. Okay, the houses 1 through 6, the signs 1 through 6 of the zodiac wheel are concerned with the development of self, the development of mind, the first 3 signs of the zodiac wheel, the development of heart, the second 3 signs of the zodiac wheel, before you enter into communion with another and start to share that. Okay, so the first 6 signs of the zodiac wheel, the first 6 houses, are all about the perfecting of self. And when you get to the third house of Gemini, it's about learning how to connect with your own identity based upon how people reflect you back, like mirror your energy back to you. And because the false matrix was designed to be an inversion, 2044 my clock, it was designed to be an inversion. It was a psyop that was designed to have everyone feel insecure and to hide behind masks and personas and not be who they really are, and to be afraid of other people's strengths and light, and so therefore distort the way that they reflect back to you who you are. Okay, so for example, some of you have been really talented your whole life. You've been really smart. You've been really creative. You've been able to grab a hold of information and take it and apply it in ways that are not conventional. And instead of people applauding that, instead of showing you the beauty of who you are, they became threatened by it and instead tried to make you feel as if you're weird, as if you're a freak, as if there's something wrong with you, as if you're not as beautiful as you are, as if you're not as talented as you are. And the whole point of that was to diminish you, so in your own mind you'd start believing that about yourself when it wasn't the truth. That's the fake mirror energy that the false matrix and its inversion systems propagated, and all of that it's dead already, and it's dying as we choose to continue to reject it. So as we stop being afraid to reflect back to people their beauty, their strength, instead of pretending like we don't see it, being threatened by it as if us seeing something beautiful in another person somehow drags us down, instead of understanding and overstanding that we can only see in another person what exists within us. Everyone is our mirror, for better or for worse. So if you see something beautiful in a person, if you see something creative, if you are able to locate that in them, it's only because that thing exists in you. And what's actually happening when you see that in that person is when you call it out, you're calling it out of hiding in yourself too. False matrix knew this about you also, which is why they didn't want you doing that. They didn't want you. They wanted you constantly in a state of insecurity, tearing yourself down, at war with yourself, and doing the same covertly to others, and not even realizing that's what you were doing, because the whole time you're hiding your darkness from yourself and pretending that you're a good person, and so you therefore can't feel any of these things. And if you start to notice these things, then you get dragged into shame, because you're not supposed to be like that. You're not supposed to think about those things about other people. All of that shit was a program. That's not even your consciousness. Those are entities, energies connected to every single false matrix program has an entity behind it. That once you align yourself with it, that entity can speak through your consciousness, whether it's through your schooling system. Have you ever noticed that certain groups of people all seem to show up and act in the same way, and you can't figure out why, down to like even their taste, their expressions. And I'm like talking about like these people could be anywhere in the world, and what unites them is this one thing. And so you see that energy and that trait flowing through them. That's because every single thing in the false matrix that was created in order to keep us away from ourselves had entities behind it. And when we aligned ourselves with those things, those entities could use our consciousness to flow through us with ease. We are channels. You are a channel. I am a channel. Our consciousness is a stream. Whatever we allow to connect to our consciousness, we allow to flow through us as if it is us. We are like water. And when you don't realize this about yourself, and your consciousness is open, and you are an open channel for anything and everything to flow through you, and you don't know this about yourself, then you ultimately will begin to believe that those things that are flowing through your consciousness are your own mind. And this is why through this energy of ascension, and especially right now through this very heavy mercurial energy, you must learn your mind. As a north node continues to go backwards, that's how the nodes move, but you get what I'm saying. As it continues to move backwards through that first decan of Aries, you are recovering back from all of these programs and these entities, your mind, for as long as you choose to take it back, for as long as you don't fall prey to these stories and these thoughts that never were your own, but you're afraid to face up to it because of the shame stories and barriers that have been built around you that make you think that because you think something, it can't be you, or it makes you bad. Well, yes, it probably isn't you in divine order, and yet your energy has still been open. So you must identify that thing that is using your consciousness to manifest its reality through you, and you must evict it. Because it's time, and because you have the ability to do that now, okay? And connect with your spiritual story, okay? Because this energy here is speaking about really letting go. And this is what I'm saying through the full moon in Aquarius, this is what it was really helping us do, is helping us to really let go of these fucked up ways we related with one another in group scenarios that have all been part of the social agendas of the false matrix to keep us at war with self and one another from the time of the previous golden age. It's time for us to clear our waters of that fuckery, because we cannot build the new world in hermit mode. We must come back together and be on the same page and be in the right groups frequentially in order to begin to rebuild this this world back into harmonious union, right? A house divided against itself cannot stand. That's another thing. My guys woke me up this morning and I could hear like certain things being played. They were speaking to me in like that liminal state between sleep and being awake. A few things they were saying to me is that you are not anyone's lamb. You are not the Lamb of God. You are not here to take away the sins of the world. Give them back. That's not your job. It's not your job to take the karmic responsibilities that belong to other beings, because as long as you're doing that, they're not learning their lessons and you're keeping karmic structures alive. Give it back. They went deep with me into that whole story of Jesus on the cross and how our consciousness was purposely tied to that, and in doing so we took on these martyrdom, sacrificial entities to flow through our own consciousness that kept us open in order to be energy harvested, and how we have to renounce that, let go of that. We're not here to be anyone's martyr. We're not here to be anyone's scapegoat. We're not here to be put on a cross. We're not here to be a lamb, okay? And that's really important, because those lies have infiltrated the spiritual community too. I'm here to take on people's karma. No, you're not. No, you're fucking not. And for as long as you continue to do that, you're going to be miserable, because you're carrying burdens that don't belong to you. And not only are you carrying burdens that don't belong to you, it's not even about that. It's like a breaking of universal law. And when you are breaking universal law, you are simply out of alignment with self. And when you're out of alignment with self, you can't rise into joy. When you're out of alignment with self, you lose your protections and you open yourself up to these energies, these parasitic energies and entities that want to use you wrongfully as a channel. So let go of all of that. You're not here for that. And even if once upon a time you really do believe that's what you were here to do, that was your alignment, it's not part of the new earth agendas anymore. And you will struggle for as long as you continue to carry these stories of martyrdom, because they're age of Pisces narratives that were designed to keep you stuck. Okay, so that's another thing. The other scripture that kept on coming, I was doing a meditation earlier on today, was a house divided against itself cannot stand. I've been hearing this this scripture for weeks now. A house divided against itself cannot stand. And if you go back into the Bible, especially those of you who are former Christians and you know that word very well, and you go into the New Testament especially, but maybe even in the Old, and you replace house with self. Because when Yeshua is talking about your house, he's talking about you. He's talking about your energy field. He's not saying to you a house divided against itself like a community or a home or a family cannot stand. Although that is true also. But he's taking it back to the genesis of the division and the separation, and that's internal. Meaning that if you are divided against yourself, you will die. Okay, you cannot continue. Like you could even say that the death and destruction timelines are manifested through us as we move farther and farther away from our truth, and we grow in greater energies of war internally with ourselves. That's what causes our death and destruction. That contributes to disease also. We call it aging. That's not what it is. You get what I'm saying? So a house divided against itself cannot stand. It's really important to get right internally through this Virgo energy. Virgo is the perfecter of your soul. It's what allows you to get right with yourself. For as long as you are radically honest about who you are, what you think, what you feel, instead of what you think you should be thinking, what you think you should be feeling. What if somebody else saw your thoughts and your feelings and what they would think about what you think and feel? Fuck that. Your relationship with your soul is between you and your soul and source, nobody else. Okay, and you're not here to entertain any more self-betrayal, not even internally in your own, conversations with your soul. Okay, so that's what the Virgo energy is calling us into, because it's time now, as we move into, the sun moves into Libra, as the South Node pulls out of Libra and moves more into Virgo. It is time to alchemize the wounds we have around relationships, around the relational dynamics of the false matrix that fed and grew these betrayal and trauma cycles. But really, the truth of the matter is that the reason that was made possible to begin with was because we were so deeply programmed into our own self-betrayal. When you betray yourself, you have no chance of doing anything but the same to another being. So everyone's someone's karmic. I've talked about this before, and I've had backlash from some people who don't want to see themselves. That's your problem. You are a karmic to someone else, because it simply means you've caused suffering because you've taken them out of alignment with their truth. And whether it's conscious or not, you've done it. We've all done it. Okay, we've done it because we've done it first to self. And for as long as we were out of alignment with self and we were entertaining these intimate relationships, romantically, familially, best friends, all this other shit, for as long as we were so in deep self-betrayal and we were involved in those situations, we were betraying them too, even if it was just on an energetic level. It wasn't conscious, it wasn't purposeful, it wasn't with our behaviors, it doesn't matter. On an energetic level, we still were keeping them out of proper alignment. Okay, even when you see somebody doing shit and you don't call them out on it, and you catch yourself saying that you love them, you are giving to their karmic suffering, because if you really love them and you wanted them to rise and ascend, you tell them the truth. If you are close enough to see their own destruction and dysfunction, and you truly love them. If you don't love them, it's not your place to say anything to them. It's not. And that's a whole other story. What it is that you need to kind of focus or hone your energy in, that you're missing right now, or that you're not paying enough attention to. Death. Scorpio energy. So this is the first major arcana we have on the board. Okay, we have Sagittarius energy. We've got 0 to 9 degrees with the 8 of Wands, right? Then we've got 10 to 19 degrees Sagittarius with the 9 of Wands. We've got the Queen of Cups, which is Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio energy, right? And now we have the Death card, which is really interesting, because the Sagittarius energy, I was saying before, is very much about fire and water. So right now we have on the board all fire and water, alchemy happening, all the rebirthing of the emotional, of something in the emotional bodies directly through the spirit. So what you need to focus on is allowing certain things to go. Okay, so when we hold on to what it is that needs to die, we are consenting to karmic contracts, we are consenting to karmic suffering. I'm not just talking about people, I'm talking about mindsets, I'm talking about emotions and feelings. That's why I said in the beginning, if you have an issue with being in a relationship with other people, or being a part of the collective again, there's nothing wrong with that. Well done for knowing that. Okay, but also understand and overstand that that's not something that you want to hold on to. And for as long as you're standing here and you're coming in the comment section and you're vomiting that up, and you're in a way where you don't want to actually shift that, you just want to complain and be like, I'm never doing that again. Okay, that's fine. You never have to do that again. Then you're going to stay stuck in your bitterness. And I'm not saying that your bitterness, your resentment, whatever it is that you're feeling is not justified. But I am saying that for as long as you're saying you're not letting it go, you're consenting to staying in that energy for good with every being. So if you're ready for that, then be ready, then fine, But the point of the matter is that the Death card means it's time to let shit go. And the thing about it is that a lot of what it is that we think we have towards other people, again, it's something that we have to confront within ourselves. What are you not forgiving yourself for? What are you not forgiving yourself for? You know, and I'm not saying you have to forgive other people, because you know how if you've been chilling with me for a while, you know that I don't even believe in that word forgiveness at this point. I always had an issue with it because I felt like it was very coercive. And then recently when I began to do the research on it, and I began to realize that, you know, when you're consenting to forgiving another person, you're saying, I'm going to take on your karmic garbage. And we're not here to do that. You're not here to forgive. You are here to let go. You are here to not be vengeful. You are here to love. But you're not here to say, okay, don't worry about what you did to me. I'll take it on as if I did it myself. How is that fair? How is that right? How is that just? How are you rising into the timeline you're supposed to be rising into in accordance with what you've chosen to do? And how are you giving that person the opportunity to learn their own karmic lessons from their miscreations? It gets everyone stuck. So it's not even about that, but when it comes to forgiveness of self, that's a whole different ballgame that more of us need to be playing. And this is kind of what I'm feeling like, the letting go, the not letting self off the hook per se, but the having the compassion and the empathy to let something go. Many of us are holding on to wounds that it's just time to let them go. We can't move forward until we surrender the density that has been literally like a millstone around our necks since the previous golden age. Like I said, this isn't small energy here. This isn't like this happened 2 weeks ago. These things that you're alchemizing. Some of you are alchemizing shit you've been carrying for millennia, which is why it feels so fucking strong and harsh, and you don't get it sometimes. But the only way to kind of begin to surrender and to let it go is to go within your own heart and to get to the nitty-gritty of what it is you're truly feeling. You know, sometimes when we react in anger, when we say certain things, yeah, we feel it, but it doesn't get to the root of the issue. Anger oftentimes is like burying so much grief and sadness and disappointment, you know, and shame. A lot of shame that builds over time becomes anger also. Guidance, 10 of fucking coins, 10 of pentacles. Yes, 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 that's Virgo energy. This is third decan of Virgo, and in this card, this is emerald, which is heart chakra. Okay, so this is speaking about how you're materializing legacy right now, okay, through the choice of what it is you want to think, you want to hold on to, you want to feel, you want to put out into the world. You're creating a whole new legacy right now through this Virgo season. New one. New earth, new timelines, new legacy. So what do you want it to look like? Are you really content to drag in the old timelines and energies that had you stuck and beholden to trauma and betrayal and feeling like you have to do everything by yourself, or you're not supported? Or are you ready to create a world where that's possible again? It's up to you. It's up to me. You know? Carrying connections. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to what we decide to take action on, how we decide to allow these energies and these lessons to flow through us. You know, 17, again, that's the star. That's the age of Aquarius energy. That's the alignment of everything coming back into rightful order and truth. And the truth is, we didn't come here to be here alone. We didn't. And yes, recently it really has been safer to be alone. And for most of you, that's a lesson you learned through all of the fucked upness of these timelines and the false matrix. But we're creating a new world and a new reality. And do you believe that? Do you believe that a new world is possible, or are you just playing games? Or do you think that, are you putting limitations on what is possible in terms of all things, including the relationships that you pursue? And I'm not talking about romance here, guys, because, you know, like, my views on romance at this point, I need healing around that energy too, because I'm not altogether on board right now with romantic liaisons until we fully come back into platonic union. That is only possible when we're in harmonious union with self. It's like we can't begin to move into that area of intimacy until we establish how to be good friends. Good friend to self, good friend to others, and then the friendship is what creates the foundation upon which all other things must grow. Whereas in the false matrix, a lot of us weren't taught that. You were taught to like jump in bed with someone when you felt attracted to them sexually, to like pursue it from that level. Very few relationships start off on the proper foundation of friendship, which is why when the lust dies, when the sexual magnetism is no longer there, there's nothing left. You know what I mean? And here's another message that's been coming through really strongly, is that you can have sexual attraction towards many people. It doesn't mean you're supposed to actualize it, because what the sexual attraction can actually mean and indicate is that you're here to actually birth something with that person. It doesn't have to be a relationship. It doesn't have to end up with the two of you being in bed together. It literally could mean that that magnetism that's drawing you towards that other person is there for you to birth a business. And once you get over the sexual feelings, you'll realize that you have a really strong creative drive together, and that's what's magnetizing you, not just the rubbing together of your groins. Light bulb, right? Because that's what sexual energy is. Sexual energy creates all things. So here we are running around because we've been programmed to think that when you are sexually attracted to somebody, that's all there is. That's not the truth. When you're sexually attracted to someone, it means that there's something that both of you have that is able to bring forth something beautiful. Now, for many of you, you just thought that was an orgasm, you know, or maybe a child later on down the line. But really, some of y'all are supposed to be birthing businesses with people, but you become so blindsided by the sexual attraction that you don't realize that it's actually just magnetism drawing you together to birth and to create something beautiful, where that energy will continue to flow and grow in a healthy way. So anyway, that's what I have for you. I hope that this reading was helpful and insightful. If it was, please make sure to hit the like button. That's how readings like this circulate, and people who need these kinds of messages are able to find them through the algorithm. Thank you for all your love and your support. Thank you to those of you who've joined me over on Substack. Thank you to those of you who are my patrons. Thank you to those of you who donate to the channel and donate to my Liberation Fund. As many of you know, I am breaking out of my own really arduous karmic cycle and trap. So I thank you for all the ways you support and that you help me. For those of you who are interested, Wednesday, August 28th, I do have my midweek group check-in session with personal card pulls and guidance. Okay, so everyone who comes to the group, you can talk about what's going on for you, get a card pulled, get guidance from me. That's what these midweek groups are for. I don't know if anyone's signed up so far for this week. I haven't checked. If I don't have anyone sign up by maybe tomorrow morning, I'm probably going to cancel it, which is fine. It's August, you know, I get it. It's everyone's chilling, which is good. It's not a bad thing when people don't need your guidance. I have a few people signed up for Saturday, the 31st. This coming Saturday for the group check-in, which is going to be very new moon in Virgo focused. The new moon in Virgo is occurring on September the 3rd at 11 degrees. 11 will always speak of mastery, but very specifically it will speak about the gateways. And in this, 11 is a gate into the new age. It's very connected. It's an Aquarian degree. It's an Aquarian number. So 11 connects us to the gates that are opening into the age of Aquarius. Because you're dealing with Virgo, it's talking about the establishing of the new earth legacies that are coming through the age of Aquarius. The materialization of contracts is happening through this new moon window. That's what this new moon window is opening up for many. So it's an important time to be in alignment with your truth as much as you're able to at this stage and level on your journey. Not in fear that you're going to miss anything. You can't miss anything when you are walking in divine timing. Even if you are not where you feel you should be, you are exactly where you need to be for as long as you're pursuing your soul's purpose. Okay, so if you're interested in coming on Saturday, I will put the information for the link in the description box below, as well as the midweek group for tomorrow, August 28th. And yes, I think those are all my announcements. If you are interested in having a one-to-one soul recovery session with me, those are on special until September the 22nd. So the pricing shown on the website is the summer rate. It's normally higher than that. I think it's like £33 off right now, which is like almost $50 off my regular pricing. So make the most of that until the 22nd of September. My Substack membership pricing is also 33% off both annual and monthly subscriptions up until September the 22nd. If you join before then, you lock in that price, that monthly price for the next year. And if you join annually, you lock in that 33% discount for good. Okay, so yeah, join me over there. Especially if you want to stay in tune with what it is I have to say about the energies every single day. I'm showing up here a lot more on YouTube because of the time that we're in, and because that's what I've been led to do, and because I have the time to do it right now, while I'm still on summer vacation, and my unschooling duties to my children aren't there right now for the next 2 weeks or so. So, but after that, if you want to continue to stay in regular contact with me regarding the planetary and the ascension energies and what it is I'm picking up and the guidance I have to give through my writing and through my audio messages, because all my messages are also done in audio, all my sunrise salutation messages, then please make sure to go ahead and join me on Substack. And to be completely honest, those of you who have something to say and you don't want to work on big platforms like YouTube, I can highly recommend beginning your Substack. I don't get paid to say that to you. I'm just coming to you as a being who has had to look at my own opportunities on these platforms. And since joining Substack, they have video, podcast, writing. All of those are in-house features that are pretty easy to follow and easy to use. And I've really enjoyed my time over there, and because it's so community oriented, you don't have a lot of the fuckery that you deal with on these other platforms in terms of algorithms. Okay, so everywhere you go, you have issues with people. That just is what it is, right? But in terms of the platform itself working against you, you don't have that as much over there as you do on some of these bigger platforms, right? So yeah, I highly recommend it. I don't believe that platforms like the one that we're on right now are going to continue to prosper as the new earth rises, to be completely honest. So it's a good time for those of you who are creators to look at your opportunities, and for those of you even who are consuming content to think about what you're giving your energy to, because these platforms take your energy also. So where do you want to be directing your consciousness as you build the new earth? Okay, so that's just something to think about. It's something that I've been challenged to think about as I create content now too, and what it is I want to do moving forward to best serve my own energy body, my own integrity, and that of the collective, and my ability to reach people too. So I'm just putting it out there for us all to kind of to ruminate on, to digest, to marinate, you know, and to make our own decisions about what is best for us on our own journeys. So anyway, I'm sending you so much love. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Hopefully I will be back again tomorrow with another message for you guys. Until then, be well.